All right, let's talk about some unsung heroes of this Super Bowl, the punting unit of the Kansas City Chiefs. We got to talk about them. They had a huge day in this one. They ended up averaging 50 yards per punt in this game, which is a crazy number. Obviously, the biggest play, which is the one we'll get to at the end of this video. But let's just talk about what this punting unit was able to do so effectively, and it kind of tells the story in a big way of how they were able to, get the big splash play at the end, of the third quarter that kind of allowed them to win this game. So let's get into it. This is the first punt. 10 minutes left in the first quarter, very early on in the game. As you see, Tommy Townsend is going to punt the ball away, and what you're going to notice on all these plays is that, nice punts, which to some degree kind of makes sense, right? You're in a dome, so it makes sense to have the punts go a little bit further, but that's only one half of the battle. If you look at that player right there, that's Joshua Williams, the gunner on this one, who also plays corner for them a decent deal. You see him doing a great job at getting past the player who's supposed to be blocking him on this one. Because of that, the kick returner, who is currently off screen, Ray McLeod, sees this and he's going to call for a fair catch. That's what he ends up doing. It is a fair catch, and it's going to be caught right there. So it's a total of 43-yard punt, but with no return. So 43-yard net punt. That's already good. Like, I think the team that had the best punting net yards per punt on the season was the Raiders. That was with a 45 net yards per punt. So 43, very good. But also, it's just something to note, and it's just something to put a pin in the fact that the Gunners doing a good job of getting down the field. Because next we would have this one, which I'm going to, wait a little bit to show it just because, the camera angle is weird. They didn't show the punts right when they happened. A lot of times they would kind of show a close-up of the punter and then do the wide angle, which I don't love, but whatever. You see, though, when this punt gets down to field, however, again, this isn't a gunner just getting past his man. He's the only guy in this area. And this is, once again, Williams, who's doing a good job of getting down here. So for Ray McLeod, you're in a weird spot where if you can make the catch and make him miss, you can easily pick up a good amount of yards. You have to be able to do that, though. Here, it doesn't happen, and this was the best pure punt of the night, as it was a 62-yard punt and no gain on the return. That's a huge swing. And again, think about where they were on the field. They were out their own 21-yard line. You're kind of thinking, okay, we'll get decent field position after this. Well, no, they did not. In fact, they got, bad field position out of it, which is just interesting. And again, it's just worth noting. Okay, so what's going wrong on these punts? Well, the Gunners are getting down there quickly. So what do you do if you're a punt blocking unit? Well, again, we'll go to this next one where, again, shows Townsend at first, and then we cut to this. So this is the situation. They're going to be punting at their own 17-yard line. So, again, not great field position, to be punting the football away. You're kind of expecting good field position if you're San Francisco. Once we get down here, you see once again it is a gunner who's doing a really good job at getting down the field. Now, worth mentioning, this is not Joshua Williams on this play. This is Nick Jones, the other gunner, but still getting down the field. However, there's one other thing worth mentioning. That San Francisco player is not Ray McLeod going to get the football. That is a player who's they put back there to help out block because the Gunners are getting down there so well. However, Ray McLeod elects to not return this. He also decides to call a fair catch, which you can kind of understand why he decided to do it, but it results in a 50-yard punt and no return. So again, we're getting these booming punts down the field, and there's enough hang time for the Gunners to get there, and the Gunners are just doing a great job. So again, it's one of those things where the punters always get all the credit. Well, okay, that's not exactly true. The punters usually don't get any credit, but when we're talking about the punting unit, usually they then get all the credit, but it's, several guys coming through, and it's the Gunners and Townsend all doing a really good job. So next we had this one. It's a 4th and 1, and you could maybe consider going for it, but they don't want to. It's, they're at their own 12-yard line, but the disadvantage of punting at your own 12-yard line is, again, for San Francisco, they're hoping for some good field position here. In fact, you're kind of hoping for some great field position here. This is one of those things where you're thinking, hey, decent return. We could maybe get the ball, already in Kansas City territory, before we even have to put our offense out there. This could be great. Well, again, punt's going to get down there. And again, the gunner, we have a gunner just doing a great job at getting down there. So once again, for McLeod, not a lot he can do. And this is Joshua Williams once again. So McLeod, he called the fair catch. That's going to be what happens. McLeod not getting a lot of opportunities to do stuff in this game. The only time he didn't call a fair catch, he got clobbered. 53-yard punt and still no return. So the Chiefs have yet to even give Larry McLeod an opportunity to return the football, and that's going to bring us to the key play, the one that was maybe the key play of the game, you could argue. This was a situation. Again, you could go for it here if you're Kansas City. In fact, I think I probably would have gone for it here. It's 4th and 2. I know you're at your own 35-yard line, but even if you give up a field goal, you're only down 7 at that point. But the Chiefs know punting the ball here is going to work out, right? Okay, no, feels like a real momentum swing because the Chiefs, they force the 3 and out, they get the ball back, but then they go 3 and out. So it's like the 49ers, real opportunity here. However, the ball gets, snapped back to Townsend, who got hit right after he punted the ball away. I thought maybe there could have been a flag there, but that disrupts this punt. So I've circled every San Francisco player in the area. A lot of these, players, 2 players who were blocking the Gunners, it looks like they're just desperately trying to get back to finally give Ray McLeod an opportunity, right? Because the ball keeps getting punted so far down the field, and yet the Gunners are still outrunning them. It feels like they're just going all out to try and make sure they can do something to the Gunners, which still isn't working. The Gunners are past them. But because of that, when it's a shorter punt, it actually hits a San Francisco player, and it's going to be Jalen Watson who recovers that one. So definitely a blunder by the 49ers for sure, but you can see why it got set up because they basically were getting destroyed in this situation constantly. And so eventually, when there's a shorter punt, well, it kind of, it surprises them a little bit. This one ended up being just a 40-yard punt and then the fumbled return. And I think part of it was set up with how many punts were going well earlier. And I'm certainly not saying this was by design for the Kansas City Chiefs to purposely punt it short and hope that works out. I actually think that probably what happened was just the pressure, which, again, I thought maybe could have been a penalty, but the pressure coming up disrupted Townsend enough that the punt didn't quite go as far, but then the Gunners, who were expecting the punt to go a lot further than it did, or excuse me, not the Gunners, but the guys blocking the Gunners, expecting it to go a lot further than it did, allowed it to hit them instead, which, again, McLeod, you could also argue if McLeod maybe should have just fallen on the football instead of trying to pick it up and run, but it's tough in that situation. It is tough. Things are happening so quickly. He probably wasn't even thinking at all, just trying to get the ball any way he could. But give credit to the Chiefs. Hey, you could sit here and say, well, that's kind of luck based. The ball just happened to bounce off of a player. Not really a lot you did there. Well, no, there was stuff they did there. They were winning so consistently, in those spots that the 49ers players got out of position. And, well, yes, there still was a lucky bounce for it to hit, the heel of a returning player on that one. You still have to then, recover the fumble, right? That still is, I feel like we always talk about fumbles as though they're lucky, and they are, right? There's a huge amount of luck that goes into the ball getting on the ground and even being in position to be able to recover. If Ray McLeod just recovers it, well, then there's nothing you can do if you're the Chiefs. At the same time, they were given an opportunity. That's all they were given, is an opportunity. They weren't given the football. They had to still take the football, and that's what they did. So good stuff by the Chiefs. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.